Watch. This is a segment on Tech Watch, and today we're delving into something that we all relate to, that's on social networking, but this time in the workplace. How can we be able to achieve the balance? And of course, demystify many things around this. Well, joining us in the program is the Operations Director at Valit Africa, Kadri Humal Ayal. Kadri, nice to see you.
Hi, Richard.
And welcome to K24.
Thank you.
Excellent. Social networking, does it have any room in the workplace? That's a question.
Sure, and I think it certainly does. You see, social networking is very much the culture that we live in currently. And, you know, agreeably some years back, people would have said, well, it's just for kids. I mean, it's just social. But really, it's part and parcel of business nowadays. So the critical thing is, yes, it does have a place, but the right place needs to be attributed to it based on what is the culture of the organization.
So first of all, we have to define the culture of the organization. Then we see how we can be able to best integrate that.
Yes, yes, certainly, because social media is part of the culture. You know, it's the culture of, do you wear casual on Friday? It's the culture of, must you wear a tie? It's a culture of, do you address your boss by last name or first name? So it's the very same way. What's your culture in social media as an organization?
How is that sort of like redefining the way people do business?
Very much so. Because you see, if in the past, social media was just viewed as, you know, something for the kids, like, you know, agreeably, let's say 5-6 years ago, many of us said, there's no way I'll open that. Facebook, that's for kids.
Yes.
And the same, I think still Twitter. A lot of people say, tweeting? I mean, it doesn't sound even like serious business. Who chirps? Who tweets? It's not business-like. But it is. That's how a lot of business is done nowadays. And, you know, many of the who is who's here in Kenya, they tweet all the time.
And maybe some of the commonly held maybe misconceptions, especially for people at the management level, when they're trying or where they're toying with the idea, should we go ahead and how should we go about this? Just put it to us. What are some of the maybe common mistakes that are made, especially when implementing this?
Sure. Actually, probably the most common mistake is to just put one foot in and then not follow it through. So there are a lot of dead social media sites where somebody one day spends some money, puts some effort in, it's there, but nothing is happening on it. So being the business culture, then the question is, do you follow things through?
Okay.
Do you just, you know, put a foot in and then you leave it at that? Because really, the moment you create for yourself a social media presence as a company, you must keep it active. You must populate it. You must talk to your consumers because that is, you know, because social media, as much as it is about socializing, but it is about marketing. It is about the business because that's where it has become. It's not just socializing.
So it's also an opportunity maybe for a company to also get feedback.
It certainly is, because I see social media in so many ways has changed the way people do marketing. I mean, if, for example, you're watching TV, what happens the time when commercials come on? You quickly check your phone, you check your laptop. You don't pay attention to the commercials. And so while in the past marketing has been so very much a push, you know, all the adverts, the billboards, everything is pushed on the consumer, social media is actually reversing all that trend because it allows the consumer to push things onto the companies. So it's more of a pull marketing than push marketing. And indeed, it's a great opportunity to have your presence at a much lower cost. And it's in many ways so much more effective because, I mean, when you're driving, if you look at, you know, around you, the other people who drive, out of 5, 3 are on their phones.
Certainly.
And the billboards that are right there on the roadside are not actually being viewed. And, you know, as much as all the advertising rates keep going up, they're getting less and less effective. And it's just recently that Kenya Red Cross actually put out a little note saying that while updating your timeline, you might lose your lifeline.
That's very catchy, but of course very true.
But that's the reality. People while driving don't watch the road. They don't watch the billboards. Certainly. They're engaged in their social media.
And I'm just trying to think at this. The fact that a company or an organization does actively use social media or social networking for interaction purposes, I'm just trying to imagine the benefits that are brought by proximity. For me as a consumer, for me as a client, for me as a person outside there in the market. So I consume your products. So that proximity, what sort of benefits do I derive as an organization for that?
Well, as an organization, first and foremost, you're able to receive feedback much faster. It doesn't need to go to the cutting edge for you to actually get feedback about what your clients perceive you as. And more so, if you engage yourself very actively, you'll actually be able to capture any negative emotions right in the bud before they actually blow up. And also, as an organization, one of the best benefits, of course, is that your marketing budget is much less, because you really don't need to spend so much money on the social media. Not to mention that for a lot of consumer studies done, recommendation on a social media is as good as a friend recommending it to you. So those are all the ways in which you are right there with your client, and also the other aspect of it, which is you're able to know so much more about your clients. Like, for example, if in the past, let's say you're a bicycle shop, somebody rocks up and buys a bicycle. All you know is they bought a bicycle. Right now, if they follow you on Twitter and Facebook, you know the day when they are going into that big race. You can actually send them congratulations when they win. Or
so follow-up, actually.
It provides great follow-up. It provides to build a relationship, a rapport with the client that was not possible in 1995.
So what would you tell executives that are very worried about, social media? I've seen a few corporate executives. They're very active in this, especially in brand building.
I would say make a policy, decide what you want to do, and then go for it. And indeed, you'll find that your staff will spend a lot of time. And social media, in a way, it's like a soap opera. Okay. In a way, it's like the reality TV, where there's always something happening. So, as the person who's engaging in social media, you every now and then need to just be able to switch off. Because if you don't, you'll just spend your entire day tweeting.
So how do we create this sense of responsibility among staff, that they don't blow this, they don't abuse this opportunity? Because I know that's the dilemma that has found most management of in many organizations in. How do we regulate this?
Sure, and you see, the most of the advice that you get out there is you must tweet maybe 5 times a day and respond maybe 10 times a day. And being electronic, it all can be monitored. Because if you sit on it longer than that, you just basically, yes, there is always opportunity to engage with somebody, and you can always say, well, it's important for the company. But if you actually set a rule and say, this is what we do per day, and you stick to that, it's the same as how to make sure that the toilet roll is reasonably used.
Then would it be then prudent, say for we in an organization, say we invest in a digital division, say we have a group of people who that's just their primary responsibility. When they just report to work, that's what they do.
Certainly, if you are the size of an organization that can afford that, you certainly would need to do that. Indeed, very much so. More so if you've got the type of followers and the numbers of followers who would like you to engage with you all the time, then yes, indeed, employ maybe 1, maybe 2 people to be entirely engaged in that. And it always because nowadays everything is digital. Everything can be actually monitored. You're able to actually view the impact that the activities on Twitter, the activities on Facebook have on visits to your website, because everything is clearly, you can see the lines drawn through, and you're able to see is it providing the impact that we're looking for? And if not, then is your product actually one that requires the type of social media presence? Do you benefit from it? If you don't, then don't do that, because not all products, like in Filed Africa, because our product is an online product. We have to engage with people online because that's where we want them. That's where we need them to go for the cloud storage that we offer. But if your product has no presence on the internet otherwise, then possibly tweeting and Facebook doesn't really help you.
And let's just look at a scenario, maybe someone like the US President Barack Obama. What role did social media play perhaps in influencing the result, or maybe winning or wooing voters to his side?
I think he certainly has played the social media very well, and knowing that not only that White House tweets and is on Facebook, etc., but Barack Obama himself every now and then engages, and he actually places his initials behind whenever it is he himself who's tweeting. So you'd actually know that you are engaging with the superpower of America. And I think that's one of the areas in which, here in Kenya, many of the politicians possibly ought to take lead, because when you look at the young voters, everybody's on Twitter, and I think one of the people who has a Twitter chat every week is Martha Karua, who's having and that the chat groups in Twitter are very important, because it's not just about tweeting, it's just not about making noise, but it's actually about engaging in meaningful conversation, and that's really what makes it real.
So actually you can use this constructively, because people think really you can't do anything serious on social media. We still have a people, maybe they're relegated to the old school generation. So for them, the much they understand is that nothing constructive can be used in this area.
Yes, I do understand the old school people who, once upon a time even didn't think that they would ever need to use a computer. The secretaries did it. It's okay. But at the very same time, indeed, a lot of discussion, a lot of business, a lot of constructive work is happening on the social media. The question is, what do you put out there that brings back for you the kind of response you're looking for, that makes it a difference for your business?
So Kadri, the future of social networking, what's sort of like your focused?
Well, of course, the variety of sites that offer a variety of ways to engage in social media keep growing. And people with large following, let's say Lady Gaga, for example, has created her own social media platform for her millions of followers, because she has that opportunity. So it's diversifying a lot, to the extent that in Kenya there are already a few people who use Foursquare, which not only that you're able to say I'm here in Kengeles, you're actually able to see who else of your friends is in Kengeles, or whenever you feel like having a particular type of food. Wherever it is that you stand in Nairobi, you go to Foursquare and it tells you exactly where that type of food is available, where it is on offer, and who of your friends are around with whom you can actually go and have it.
Wow.
So and it keeps making it more and more closer to you, because you see the whole issue of social media is the amount of data about consumers that is available, and how that data is used by businesses through big data mining, and the amount of information that then can be used for businesses to tailor their products to each and every person whom they consider their market segment.
So for you as Filed Africa, how are you doing it? How are you using social media?
Well, we of course we tweet. We also encourage our people who back up with Filed Africa to respond on us on Twitter, to give us feedback on Facebook, and indeed we have people, people like sharing their high moments. Like, for example, when there's one of our customers whose laptop was snatched in town, and on days that would be a sad story.
Yes.
But he said, no, I had just backed up everything with File It Africa, and I don't care my laptop was gone, but all my research work, everything is safe.
It's intact.
Intact. I just, anyway, I can just go into any cyber cafe and just continue working on what I was working while I put together a bit of money and buy a new laptop.
So thanks to cloud computing?
Absolutely.
Wow. How does that really work? It's a buzzword, ICT, everyone is, cloud computing. So everyone is wondering, really, is it out there?
Actually, cloud computing is, yes, it's a fancy word, but what it really means is that whatever you've got in your computer, like cloud storage, but cloud computing, that's a broad spectrum.
Yes,
it offers so much. Now, I know it's everything from you never need a computer ever again with all the applications, and in the future, indeed, you'll just have a screen. You won't have the operational system running, you won't have any of the heavy stuff. You just have a screen, and with that you're able to link to the cloud where all your documents, everything is. Right, but right now what we have available, for example, in File It Africa is cloud storage, where your computer, a copy of it is made into our servers. And we offer you an automatic backup software, so you don't need to do anything. After you've downloaded the software, it just does everything for you. And the copy that is backed up, it's transmitted over a secure connection. And in the servers, we actually have 3 servers. So on each server, all data is saved 5 times. Because normally if you're backed up, so that means 15 copies. 15 copies of everything you've got in your laptop. And in our servers, it's encrypted. It's in 448-bit encryption. So that means that, one, we don't lose it. Second, nobody will be able to hack into it, provided you've used a secure and strong password.
Well, great. Now what we'll do, we'll definitely look for another opportunity where we can talk about cloud computing. And at least you can be able to help us understand the concept.
Yes, we'd gladly help to break it down to simple terms, because very often people in ICT talk very high terms, but it's really simple.
Okay. Kadri, nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you, Richard.
Just been talking to Kadri Humal. She is the Operations Director at File It Africa. Today on Tech Watch, we're just touching a bit on cloud computing, but majorly social networking in the workplace. So I hope all the executives are listening. Thank you very much for